Ejereski. This vid is for you. We're on video number 2 of 4 that I will make. We're going to talk about Facebook this time around and start with the daily chart. Looking at this candle and just about everything this morning, it gapped up. When I see a gap up, I'm always looking for where price is likely to retrace. And if stocks are strong, they'll only retrace a little bit, maybe to this area or so. We can see that wasn't the case with Facebook. It did come all the way down. So as I'm looking at the daily, I start with my initial targets and I just, if they keep going, keep moving it down, keep moving it down. We can see we eventually landed here, which was magnitude of this particular candle. I'm very used to doing this, so I'll either look left on my smaller time frame, but a lot of times I'm watching to see what the next likely level is, and then I sync that to the smaller time frame I'm watching and see how price reacts, and that's my determination as to whether that's the magnitude on that particular trade or not. What I'm going to do now, though, is show you on the smaller time frame, on the 1 minute time frame, what I would have been looking at had I traded Facebook. And when you see big gaps, be aware that often you'll see that final little pop and drop at market open, and this will lure people into thinking it's a long. So this is kind of like your bear trap, effectively, and then it fails. So when I see a gap that large, I do expect some kind of failure. And looking left, my initial target would be somewhere in this range and then down to this range. And why didn't my, okay, so yeah, that's how I would play that, but let's just remove this one line. And let's just say you saw this consolidation, but you weren't really sure what to make of it. Sometimes when stocks are consolidating, it's hard to tell what direction they're going to pick. This one isn't as difficult as some, but I'm going to show you a little trick I use.
So here's the little trick. Just make this bigger. All right, so this area of consolidation opens up here and closes here. So I'm gonna take my little box that many of you have seen me draw and draw it around this consolidation. And then I'm going to draw the wicks of the candles equivalent to the highest and lowest wick near that box. It's a little more than it probably should be, but you get the idea. And then I have this lovely doji candle. Oh, where do I get in? Well, I get in on the break of that candle to the downside, which is here. And my stop goes above that candle right there.
It works. I see that it comes down and then it retraces roughly 50% of the way. It's not anywhere near my stop. And this is where I look at adding. And I don't add on a candle that goes against me because I don't know how much further it's going to continue to try to go against me. And I can't predict that. But I can see, my trend line is here, that a 2-2 reversal back to trend is very favorable. So my entry goes as soon as this candle breaks. This candle is a little bit bigger body and my stop needs to go here. if I'm kind of moving my stop down along the way, which I do tend to do, and I add on this break. And as far as my magnitude goes, once again, I'm looking left. So get this out of the way. As it keeps going and fails down through here, my ultimate magnitude is somewhere in this area. And again, guys, you can't be overly picky with these targets. I mean, these are stocks. They aren't some kind of engineering project. They're going to do, it's going to be a range. So don't miss these things just because it didn't perfectly come in and tap it. And let me show you what I mean. Just delete this. This is like a range. So when I draw things, I draw that like a range. So when it comes down or taps near that box, I'm out. Okay. And often in the morning, I will take a first leg of the trade and I'm done because then I've locked in some money. And I'll wait for it to TTO or set up again. And really, when you see consolidation like this, that is a form of TTO. This is a time correction. That's what consolidation is, okay? Then you see it fails, but I think we got the picture on the downside of the trade. So let's look at how we would play the reversal. And I want you to notice a couple things. This happens a lot. We get a little hammer, this big giant candle. You think this thing is going great and boom, it fails. So I find a lot of times your first hammer can be a fake out, especially if it's a little one like this. Not always. But what happens next is a tell. So this next candle doesn't quite come up to this magnitude. It takes a couple candles to do that. So really this first candle to reverse direction takes out these two candles, doesn't take this guy out. So I wait, and then what I see is this candle takes out this candle, and that candle. So it takes out 3 levels of candles. Even though it's a smaller body, it's stronger, in my opinion, than this previous candle. And so my entry long goes here, and then I put a stop right below the wicks of these candles. They're so close. I'm going to go with the one that's a little bit longer and give myself that wiggle room. So I get in, I'm moving along. I see that here it retraces, I don't know, 30% of the way. It's a very small retracement. And I look at that as an add. And once again, I don't add when it's going against me. So I wouldn't add on a black candle. I wait for it to do a 2-2 reversal back my way. So I add right here. At this point, I'll move my stop right there. And really, I may just choose to get out when it gets back to magnitude here, depending on what I'm shooting for, so on and so forth. But here's an area that I want to walk you through, and that is the same type of pattern consolidation, but now we're going to look at how we draw it when it's to the upside. So we open here and we close there. That's the body of my candle. I'm going to make it green. Make it a nice bright green. Okay. Let me delete this guy. All right, so this is how my candle is going to look. And then I'm going to draw my wicks, and the wicks go to the magnitude of the largest wick. So boom, and then on the bottom, same deal, it'll be that wick. Boom, so there's my little doji. And once again, consolidation areas, especially if you're trading options, are an area you can consider adding, but really I'm not going to add until it breaks and goes back my way. So if this is the body of your candle, as soon as this next candle breaks up, I'm in. My stop goes really right where this line is, but right below that wick. I'm in. We're off to the races. Whoops. How do I know where my target to the upside is? You're going to love this. I look left, and what do I see? This area right in here. And then let me just bring this all back so you can see the big picture. There's my target, and I'm out. And if I want to, I can take the next trade. But those are some of my tips and tricks on Facebook, and I hope that helps you. Next up will be SPY.